Hey now, you're an all-star, and welcome back to some more Space Moth DX. Actually, a little bit different for today. Granted, I did lose my fucking mind earlier today, but after yeah, so after I don't know, some time away, cooling my jets and really not trying to do too much all at the same time, which I think is what I have to do eventually, what it's going to take to beat this game, but not doing it right now, that sort of thing. So here we are in practice mode. A really cool feature that I have been using, but really should be probably using more. You know, and here we are with default stock going against the final boss, and just to give you an idea of how ugly it's going to be. We do clear it a couple times, but you know the thought remains that do we have to be default stock or better coming into this boss to win? And it certainly could actually be that, as scary as it is. Or use bombs when you absolutely have to, that sort of thing. Despite the fact that using a bomb kind of does put some time on the clock as well. So it's more or less a sort of, you know, uh, bullet hell shuffle, reshuffle, as it were, other than, certainly trying to burn time off the clock. Um, but yeah, I guess the message I want to say is that we're not done with Space Moth. I certainly did say, or I certainly said a lot, but I also spit all the venom in the world towards this game in this last video, and and I certainly stick by it. This game is very frustrating, and the challenge curves when it comes to the stage, to the bosses, to the final boss, is a little ridiculous, and I think uneven. Um, and certain things implemented in the game, I feel don't necessarily serve a purpose besides adding to that difficulty. The fact that auto bombs take all your bombs, not just that, but also add time to the clock. All these things are they just pile on each other to go, what do I need to do? Do I need to be perfect? And you know, in a way, in a frustrating answer, they say, yeah, you do have to be perfect. And that's and I suppose if a game says, yeah, you have to be perfect to beat this game, then yeah, I would say it wouldn't be completely out of the realm that someone on the internet calls them a cunt and tells them that the game's a piece of trash. Um, yeah, I suppose that's not out of the realm of possibility. But yeah, for the most part, this is going to be just practice runs. Um, just trying to get as much experience under my belt um, with this boss as possible. And for the most part, for these couple stages, um, it's not really so bad. Some areas, some runs I have better than others, and it's really until things get really clogged up that it's just like I fail to understand what I'm supposed to do. Even here it's not so bad. I in fact kind of like this size more than the smaller ones, but um, yeah, when it seems to be just a wave of pink coming at you, I just fail to understand. Kind of this and onwards. I kind of understand what I fail to see how someone could beat this in any sort of um, possibility um, with less than like stellar lives and bomb stock. It's I'm no game developer or game designer for that matter, but I do feel it's questionable, and I would have to say so. You know, while you had this theme of in this game where you could, where you're changing colors of certain bugs to get them more aggressive and then finish them off with your laser, and you have these bosses with these unique attack patterns. Why is the final boss unable to be killed, and why do you have to survive all these different waves of attacks, with some of them being nigh impossible? Where the last few seconds of this is just a giant wave coming after you. I feel, it's, I think the bullet hell has its own sort of craze within the shoot 'em up world, I suppose, or genre, and I feel this is just kind of just a lazy remark on it, just kind of like, if we have a ton of bullets, it means it's good, that sort of thing. And I certainly, I would beg to differ. I really think it's the complexity and diversity of bullet patterns. Here it's just fucking just seems random. You have a spiral and just certain timed orbs come at you, and then they get larger, and then it's just a big purple wave. I mean, I don't find that to be the most climactic or creative thing ever. I really think it's just a tool to say, okay, how well did you do early in the game? Because we're going to automatically take some bombs, some lives, some anything from you, and see if you survive. And it's it's I like the idea of the boss being the moon, as in, like maybe the brightest thing in the sky. I get it. I'm down with that. But put a fucking, Majora's Mask face on it and have me blow it out of the sky. But yeah, this shit, it's empty, brainless garbage to my not, for my opinion. There's absolutely no reason why. Like, what's this do? What does this do? It's fucking dumb. It's pointless. If you've been training, if you train your player behind the controller or keyboard to dodge bullets, yeah, that's what this part right here is doing. You train them to do bullets, but then you give them fucking, beach ball sized bullets that you can evade, then what was the point? If it's just a matter of, okay, now exactly how healthy are you at this point? I mean, I said, why a skill check of any sort, So, I suppose the end of this thesis is that I like the final boss in design, but not in practicality, not in function. Pointless, stupid shooting. Because whether you had a strategy of this or that, if you had the strategy of using your rapid fire or your laser throughout the game, it doesn't matter, either one. It has no bearing whatsoever. Whether you have auto bomb or not auto bomb on this area matters little. They've rigged it so that you add time to the clock if you use a bomb. Yeah, it seems very little. It seems like from the beginning of the game to the 5th stage is one concept, and then this final boss stands alone on its own. and stark contrast to the rest of the game. You know, we were just playing Reflex, and the final boss uses all these maniac attacks to destroy the pilot in the ship, but the ship kind of awakens as its own sort of heavenly body. You know, not saying this game should have ripped off something like that, but what are we doing with the moon otherwise? You know, it's just, here we are, a big pink mess of things you can barely get out of. Yeah, it's we're gonna stick with it. I mean, you may find that the videos might not come in quick succession like they have in the past. You know, to be completely honest, you know, I don't have my heart in it. You know, this is me practicing this. This is you know, hoping that one day in fucking 8 months we could beat this game, because you know, it's one of those things I frankly don't give a fuck too much anymore. You know, we're still gonna whack at it. You know, I still enjoy the game. It's certainly not perfect by any means, but I do feel committed enough that I owe it to myself to, when I bury this fucking game, it'll be when I 1cc this thing, and never look back. That sort of thing. You know, we've had our jokes, we've had our fun, we've had our good times, but now this game has really kind of forged an enemy, and you know, I'm not going to let it go until it's done. That sort of thing. But yeah, this is you know, primarily I wanted to share some experience, at least with the practice, just showing how that progress is going, kind of show that, you know, I haven't really completely abandoned this game, and just kind of say my piece while seeing it again for a second time. Yeah, we'll have more videos of Space Moth, but you know, I think we'll transition on to other things as well. Maybe Embodiment of Scarlet Devil, Strania, maybe something else, maybe something new. I really don't know. And I think we'll put out the occasional Space Moth as well until we beat it. I think that's the only fair thing. But I mean, the sad fact is it looks like we're going to have to do exceptionally well through the whole game, and then not fall apart at the end. Apparently, that's all it takes. You know, near perfection. pretty fucking ridiculous. Look at this. Just a vapid, chaotic mess of just whatever. Yeah, congratulations, you've survived. Alright. At least I'm ending this video with a smile on my face, if not something, even if it's jokingly. Alright guys, leave a comment, like, and don't forget to subscribe.